Rosemary and John have selflessly dedicated nearly 60 years of their lives to the health of the Lake Simcoe watershed.
Well, I've known John and Rosemary for a long time, and their dedication to the conservation go back a long way. They've worked very, very hard. They try to do the right thing all the time.
The strong environmental values they learned as children stayed with them their whole lives. They didn't use hormones in their cattle or insecticide on their vegetables. They didn't water their lawn, and they did everything they could to preserve the natural heritage of their property. They continue to live according to what they believe in.
When I was in my early teens, my father bought an abandoned farm. I learned how important trees were to rehabilitate these abandoned farmlands, and my family has always worked in the bush in the wintertime, and I just kind of followed along.
I'm the fourth generation of my family on this land. They came in the 1850s. The big trees behind this Norway spruce were planted by my great-grandfather.
As dedicated stewards of the land, they are genuine caretakers, following best practices in both land and forest management. They reforested pasteurized hills, manually controlled weeds like poison ivy, and for over 30 years, they used selective cutting techniques to manage their forest.
We did the environmental farm plan, and it made you think and look about what you're doing and what you could do, how you could do it better.
To naturalize and support the biodiversity of their property, Rosemary and John carefully and methodically replaced the non-native and invasive Manitoba and willow trees with native trees like oak, maple, and hickory. Years later, when it was time to retire the farm, they reforested 99 acres by planting 80,000 trees.
We were the last of our family to be interested in farming, and that's why we planted out in trees, so that we'd have cleaner air, cleaner water, and clean land.
Once established, these trees will help to sequester carbon, regulate microclimates, encourage filtration, and prevent flooding, runoff, and soil erosion. Rosemary was a founding member of the Oro Trail Club, and John has been a volunteer weather observer for Environment Canada for 47 years, taking temperature, rain, and snowfall readings twice daily.
For the community, people like Rosemary and John hold a standard that we all should live to.
Rosemary and John's love for nature is always on display. Each year, they lovingly hang handmade bird and bat boxes to help provide essential habitat for these struggling species. Bluebirds and orioles have now nested on their property for well over 25 years.
The George R. Richardson Conservation Award of Honor recognizes those who have demonstrated significant leadership, dedication, and accomplishments to the health of the watershed or the field of conservation. The award has a rich history of past winners, beginning with George Richardson himself, fondly known as Mr. Conservation. This year, it is my tremendous pleasure to announce that the 2021 George R. Richardson Conservation Award of Honor goes to Rosemary and John Dunsmore. Congratulations, Rosemary and John.
We've always lived the life of being concerned about the land and clean water, clean air, and it's just accumulation of what we've done in our lifetime, and it's just an honor to receive this award.
John and Rosemary, on behalf of Lake Simcoe Conservation Authority, I'd like to thank you for your many years of dedication as excellent stewards of the land and the preservation of the lake. And I'd like to present to you the George R. Richardson Conservation Award. I wish you many more years of supporting the environment and the Conservation Authority.
I don't know what to say. I just hope it inspires other people to do roughly the same thing as we have.
The hope that people will learn to enjoy the environment as much as I have and take care of it.
As part of their legacy, the Dunmores donated 114 acres as an ecological gift, securing protection for wetlands and forests for future generations.
Nobody gets paid for doing this kind of work. This just comes from the heart.
I'd like to thank John and Rosemary for being the great stewards of the environment. Their strong voice and commitment is something that we should all learn from.
Their everyday lives showcase how we can live in harmony with nature and the importance of protecting the natural environment.